Okay, please stand your able for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Need a few minutes to get going there, Ken?
Yeah. You've used. I have this with this computer or another?
No, with my computer.
Did you have to go into presentation mode in Windows or?
No, it just popped up.
All right, the agenda is pretty simple. It is do a budget workshop. That's why we're all here. It'll be followed by a closed session for personnel. Are there any desired changes to the agenda by the commissioners?
Then here.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the main event as soon as we can get the audio visual working.
While he's working on that, I can read some opening remarks.
Sure, go ahead.
I guess he's not focused.
What? Yeah. How's your roads coming from Washburn this morning?
Not too bad. Put my car in that X mode. I think it did worse when I did that than I did yesterday.
What mode is that? X?
Yeah.
Well,
it's supposed to
PC
be
screen only.
Like traction?
all terrain.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought that was
duplicates with
sport
the
mode. I was like,
in there.
he's doing like 80 miles an hour.
Sport mode is probably not the way to go. Yeah, I finally figured out how to go to all-wheel drive on my vehicle.
Yeah.
I do it all-wheel drive and then shift over to put it in manual, and then I can shift manually. And
Yeah,
that
I can do that.
makes it a whole lot easier. I like
Something connected?
Yeah, something's
License
connecting,
now.
I just don't know what's going
What did it say?
Device connected to HDMI 2.
I drove through an ice storm going to a cruise. I was going to New Orleans to take a cruise, carload of people, because none of them wanted to fly. And I'm like, we can skip the ice, we just fly over it.
Right. Next time we're flying.
Yeah, drove down 55, in Missouri 60 was clear, you get to 55, Arkansas, completely covered in ice. Cars off, trucks
Yeah,
broken in
there's no way
half,
to-
nothing.
It's always been that way.
Yeah.
Missouri, Arkansas.
It is, it's crazy. I drove on that and just manual drive, manual shift, and I got all the way down there.
Okay, so
We
it's
finally
in
found an
14 now,
after
you're in
exit
HDMI
this
2?
truck stop. I got off there so they could off.
It's the
Man,
computer.
I didn't know my airplane in touch.
Let's prove it.
Honey, we believe in God. Good Lord, put the ice there, he'll take it off.
Yes, that's
And
right.
I'm like, in Missouri, we just helped
Is
him
the
out.
stuff loaded on there, or are you going to the?
I didn't
Yeah,
bring my
Yeah,
iPad.
he'll be
I
in
mean, or are you going to the?
Wow.
Okay.
Where he was, Tennessee State Line.
How did I not?
Yeah, no, but maybe
Arkansas,
it's your computer.
Northeast Arkansas doesn't do
I
anything.
wonder
Northwest
because,
Arkansas.
yeah.
Yeah, it is,
Okay.
yeah. Northwest Arkansas, man, they busted on us, plain and snow.
And you can log in as you. And you'll need this.
Either one of you guys want to own a beer truck? A beer truck?
And then there's the.
Beer truck. You know, it would actually, see, put it in like a classic vehicle.
It's got good cabin. Maybe you guys.
Well, I was thinking,
Yeah, any computer that is logged into.
It is like you saw me, people busting them.
Yeah, I came up here the other day and ran through my state of the city, and it worked with my computer.
How's that going for attendance?
60.
That's good.
Yeah.
No USB.
That's probably.
And I think we're gonna have some
No injury.
folks just show up.
Got it. Battery operated.
Text and email saying, hey, I can't wait to see you Thursday. And
I'm sure that.
I look at the list and I'm like, you're not on the list.
Is that your law enforcement?
Based on my experience, I just sort of limited to probably them.
Right. Good thing is that we got her chairs. That's the main side.
Yeah, yeah, we're gonna,
That's
she's gonna, I gave her my final count yesterday, plus 10 food.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody
Good, thank you, sir. All right.
Thank you, Josh.
And,
Hey, thanks, Josh.
We need to say,
Your passport.
I know he's here.
No, because I got a text one night, like, hey, we had AG, got hurt. I thought I had somebody names. Somebody got hurt. I'm sorry, I shouldn't lead off with that. I'm like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't lead off with yours.
He's gonna be here.
You'll be able to go and consult him.
Also, if you want to, if they had to.
Not while you're city manager.
No. Yeah. Two months ago now, she was walking out of her car. She had her hands like this, bag here, this here. So it's like guns here. She's got a backpack. She's not even close to it. She just leans down to put her briefcase in and shoots herself in the leg.
Man.
Just falls on the ground, gets up, calls.
Is it
Ziggy's gonna have,
presentation?
they got it.
They
They go to the
this
feds,
is-
that's
yeah.
what she to the feds, HSI.
But she can drill down even further.
They've had, I think,
Okay.
20-some ADs,
Really?
yeah. Without being.
Plus, she's got other, like, project
That's a
problem.
schedules.
So they're like, we're done, we turned them in.
That's what we covered last
Yeah,
week.
yeah, but if you have
It's just
questions
this
about
one
that, she
very
can.
specific, very bad model
Yeah.
that they have got to pull off. They keep saying it's not this. First, this one.
Somebody's dead, and they're gonna sue him because they're gonna say, you had all these.
Oh my God, yeah, there's no way they can, decline
And
it.
you knew this was, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
their-
well,
It's not.
yeah, but my first thought was, it's in the bathroom. Let's make sure this is not.
Something else going on. Yeah.
I had that happen. I had a kid do that to me one time. He was actually eager, he set him down and he said, no, I'm good. I said, okay, man. So, went on by himself.
Yep.
And it was a good thing that we sent PD to check on you because he couldn't even respond.
Right.
And we sent PD and they found that he shot something like that. He survived. And so, you know, I mean, I know that it feels like it's an accident.
That's what I used to do, that sailors doing, and everyone's like,
First thing is, they're not hurt, that's good. Nobody else got hurt.
That's it. That's what I said. I was like, no one else got hurt. He wasn't trying to get himself hurt.
Right.
Let's just,
Working as a team.
yeah. And he's a good kid, so it's like, let's just get through it.
Right.
You good?
hey, Kurt.
And so,
Figured it out.
So we're on the first page of what's in this booklet.
It's supposed to.
not yet.
Okay, all right. I'm just reminding everyone, we're in open session now. Mickey, go ahead.
All right. What you have, council, before you is a notebook that Finance Director put together. I know this is your first chance to look at the complete rolled-up budget, but I just remind you of the process that we're in. This is the first work session that you'll be presented this. Obviously, you can take this away. First reading of the budget ordinance will be February 12th, and then you'll have time to review, and you can always amend anything. And then second reading will be 3/12, 10 days after the budget would go into effect, and start date would be April 1. So that's our process that we have before you. What you have, the first tab is the general funds, and I do want to say staff did a very good job that relies on general funds. All of our staff did a good job, but those that rely on general funds, the finance director met with each department head, worked through the worksheets. If they had any questions, they could go directly to the finance director. And then I did what I call budget hearings with each of the department heads, and we walked through. I told the finance director I was really interested in any variances that were with a threshold of $1,000 or more, any changes in the budget. And when we walked through the budget, I don't think we had any thresholds that were 1,000 or more. There were no changes. So what that says is the department heads did a very good job looking at their budget, doing the best they could to stay budget neutral and not impact the budget in negative ways. The overall budget that we're presenting in the general funds, it last year was a $1.9 million deficit. This year is a 1.7, so there is a cost savings of $200,000. $200,000 in a $50+ million budget may not sound that much, but at least we're moving in the right direction. And again, I think, if I may say, I think the staff is rowing in the same direction, so which I appreciate greatly. City revenues, of course, we rely on sales tax and our use tax. Our use tax has increased, and it probably will continue to do that. Use tax is based on individuals that purchase online. City was very forward-thinking. There's a lot of municipalities that are trying to pass use taxes, and some are not getting them passed, but the city was very forward-thinking in getting the use tax passed. We did have the administrative team and I put together a budget timeline, and I want to share that timeline with council. So the budget timeline that the admin team put together, I regret to say we didn't hit these marks, but we will do that. We'll continue to work on it. Ideally, we would have had these workshops earlier, but it is what it is. But that is the budget timeline that we'll work on for next year. So any questions about any of that? Because I certainly will take responsibility that we didn't hit that. Okay. Just some, as we have shared, the budget is built on a 2% COLA, cost of living, across the board for all employees, and up to a 3% performance adjustment for staff outside the unions. And so we've got one union contract that is in place. We have gotten confirmation that the Water and Utilities Office voted in the affirmative to move forward with labor negotiations. And of course, we've already started negotiations with the fire department. So again, this budget though reflects, for those employees outside of unions, up to a 5% increase if they hit the performance marks. I believe that we've had all of our performance evaluations turned in to HR, which is good. There's some key factors of this budget. Obviously, what I've just been sharing about the union formation. Last year, council moved to hire a legal firm with municipal experience. Lauber Municipal Law was selected after an RFP was sent out. But our legal fees, they have increased this year because of the general fees that we've done to review ordinances or review acts of the city that we needed to make sure we had a legal opinion on. We also did a lot of work with EDC, and we had a specialist, again, out of Lauber Law that worked on the Chapter 353, has done research on Chapter 100. Even though we haven't implemented that yet, we believe there's an opportunity for us to implement Chapter 100 in the near future. The TIF was actually handled by another law firm and other entities. And then, of course, the labor contracts that we had to undergo. This last year, council moved that we upgrade our network and our IT infrastructure. That's going quite well, and if you have any questions about that, we can certainly answer those questions, but we're seeing progress in that area, and that's an expenditure that is reflected in this budget as we've allocated those expenses across all departments. City's been very successful in the past to get grants issued and get grants awarded to the city. We're currently under a couple of grants that we have been awarded. One is the Chrissy Grant, which is the railroad crossing grant, but it's for Chapel Drive. That's a $4.9 million grant that we received. Of course, then we're using our use tax as a portion of that for Chapel Drive, as we described the other day. The other grant that we currently have is for the city airport hangar, which is a $1.2 million grant that's been awarded, and we are very appreciative of that. Our Community Development Director, Doug, is working on other grant opportunities. Both of our chiefs constantly work on grant opportunities, which I'm very thankful for. And then Dave with emergency management, he also researches grants. And actually Dave Dunn has been researching some grants and I think awarded a couple of grants. And then we've got other partners, they're not grants, but especially in our parks, we have partnerships with distributors that give us very good discounts. And all of these amenities, all these things help the city. There are some projects that we're looking for preparation on that's reflected in this budget. We shared that with the council the other day. That's the connector road. The construction of the connector road is not reflected in this budget. What's reflected in the budget is preparation to get that project shovel ready for the next budget year. So it'll be another year of preparation work to look at that connector road. We just need to analyze our revenues for the city, and staff continues to do this. There are some areas that these are not going to be silver bullets, but they can help revenue streams within the city. And that is our permits and fees. We're pretty low on our permits and fees. And so again, our community development department, because most of the fees and permits fall in that department, they're analyzing all that information. We're looking at changing the way we do business license in the City of Monett to go to an annual renewal and a possible increase of the business license. Again, that's a small revenue stream, but it is a revenue stream. And then expansion on the grants and the searches and the applications. We've also looked at analyzing some of the city services over the next year to make sure that we're being cost effective and cost efficient. I will say about the City of Monett, since I've been here almost a year, we're very fortunate to have some good equipment. I know we have some dated equipment, but all of our departments do a good job keeping up with their equipment, making sure their equipment is ready, whether it's road ready or construction ready. And then of course the work that Paul does at our city garage to keep those things running. So the general process of this budget is the finance director worked with the department heads, we reviewed with myself. We're now conducting this work session, and then we'll do the first reading, as I said, February 12th, and then second reading 3/12. So what I'd like to do, if there's any questions, as we get down into the departments, we'll defer to the department head. If they can't answer it, then we will make sure that the finance director, but we're here to really answer your questions. And so I really wasn't planning on going line by line unless you all want me to do that. That would take us some time. What I'd like to do is an overview of the general funds, kind of the variances there. All of them run deficits, and see if there's any questions there. Is that okay if we start there? Sure. Okay. So I'm on page 1 of your notebook. It's 1 of 6. Government administration, that includes myself, HR, finance. You'll see that there's a revenue variance there of about $1 million or so, and I'm gonna defer to Sandra. Sandra, can you tell me again why that, or tell us again why that change in that variance of the revenues?
Sorry, I was messing with the computer. Can you?
I'll say it. It's because of the enterprise funds,
Okay.
and what we receive is what we would call franchise fees off those. With the rate increase that we saw in the enterprise funds, and because of the rate increase, we're doing some projects in there, but we also get more revenue off that as a what would be called a franchise fee. So that's what's caused that boost.
So Mickey,
Yep.
you're talking about, your comparison is the current or the proposed budget, 26-27 to 25-26?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I'm going to focus on the last 2 columns.
Okay.
All right, then there's expenses, and again, personnel expenses are in there as we look at all of that. Moving down to community development, Doug Potts. This is Doug is the department head over this department. There is an increase there. Expenses have increased. There was a slight revenue increase because he's already done some changes on some permitting and those kinds of things, but that is a deficit of $348,000. Any questions for the Community Development Department? Okay, seeing none. Municipal Court, there is no revenue stream for the Municipal Court, so this is, the expenses obviously have increased a little bit. There are a couple of items that Michelle had asked for. It's really signage related to the office space and a little bit of clarity as people come into the Justice Center to just kind of know what direction they go. This was actually a recommendation from the state inspector that looks at courts. Just said that you need some signage there that clarifies that. So we're gonna get that taken care of this year pretty quickly. And again, a deficit of $145,000.
One question here, the court fees and all of that, where does that go?
Where does that land at? Court fees.
In fines?
It goes to the
It's
court.
not a big amount, I'm just curious.
I believe they go to police, don't they, George?
It goes to general fund. I believe.
General
Is
fund.
it
General
general?
fund, okay.
It does. All right, emergency management, this is Dave Compton, and I will say, for a part-time guy that has a full-time job, Dave does a lot for this city, so, and that full-time job isn't with the city. So, anyway, we've got some good things happening there. Dave does a really good job securing grants. We got a grant last year for a new siren, and I know he's doing some other things. Any questions for Dave, or Dave, you got any comments about emergency management?
We appreciate the support. I will say that we are pursuing grant for another siren for that new subdivision up on the north side.
So in the near term, that's the biggest cost item, is that correct?
Yes, that would be one of our larger cost items, yeah. Other than just routine, contributions to other things, but yeah, that would be our larger cost item.
All right, a little off the budget track, but what did we spend for this last storm? That's not I would like to get an answer to that question.
Which storm?
This past one here.
The snowstorm?
The
Snowstorm.
The snowstorm?
Yeah.
I don't have those numbers.
Yeah, whenever we have something like that, what I'm saying, I'd like to be able to assess the
Yes.
cost, emergency, so hey, are the funds available?
Yeah.
And that's the first piece of it.
We
before
can definitely, I can definitely do that, and we'll start gathering those numbers this week and get that to you in my monthly report of what we spent.
That'd be fine.
I can do that, absolutely.
Okay. Moving on to the fire department, we've got a couple exciting things that you all are aware of. The council was gracious enough to go ahead and purchase in advance or move forward on the outfitting of the equipment that the guys wear, and then the one fire truck will be delivered this year, and then the pre-ordering of the 107-foot fire ladder. And then, Brandon, if you'll just speak to the Moswin and why this is critical for us.
So this Moshwin radios that I put into the budget or gave to Mickey and Sandra, it's a communication system that George is getting ready to go to in May or June. Barry Lawrence Ambulance is possibly getting ready to go to it sometime this year once everything's in place. This is going to be a safety issue for not only police, fire, and EMS, because they are going on a statewide communication system. Fire departments to be on VHF. You can't patch the two channels, or you can, but they don't recommend it because of communication issues. When I found out that police and EMS was going to this system, I put it into the budget to give to Sandra and Mickey. This is a big thing, because if we don't have communication between police, fire, and EMS, then it's a big safety issue. And
Well, it ties us in, not only us here, but also to state, right? So
yes,
this-
sir. So this is just not only going to, affect Monett, it's going to affect the state of Missouri for regions that if we have to go to another, God forbid, another Joplin tornado. We had a big issue when Joplin tornado happened. We didn't have no communication with 30 people over there. Matter of fact, we had to have one police officer ride around with us why we were over there for 3 weeks, because they had the only radio.
Okay, how about federal agencies? I mean, not that we need that, but
So, on Moswin, they have because they work with the JFO in Jefferson City, they would have access to that system through the state of Missouri. So yes, we would be able to communicate with incoming federal agencies. We have certain designated federal channels that we can.
within the Moswin network.
That we can use within the Moswin network. It also gives us direct contact to Jefferson City.
Okay.
So.
All right, so this is going to be standard. Everyone's going to be on the same circuit.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that it will also be relatively secure, so it can't be
is.
hacked?
It's a digital system. It's secure in packets, the way they use it. Technically, they're public frequencies, but the way they're secured, unless you have an 800 megahertz radio, it's something that's on the P25 system, you can't do that.
Okay.
I will tell you, we had that problem so Greene County does that. When they came down here last summer bummer last, to assist us in
Okay.
fires.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Okay, and when are you switching over, George, or have you already?
We haven't yet, sir. We're planning in the second quarter.
Okay, in the second quarter. So this is 191,133.69. This has been, we've been talking about this. Then we had our quarterly emergency management in our quarterly. It's not only the public safety staff of the City of Monett, but we also include our partners, Barry Lawrence Ambulance, both 911 centers were there. Who else? Is that it?
That was pretty much it.
Okay. And this was really the main topic, and it's critical. So we went ahead and plugged this into the budget, and it's reflected in the budget that you have before you. So, any other questions about fire?
Yeah, just on the expenses, you have a fairly significant increase on overtime. Is that, I mean, overtime wages itself is significantly down, but there's a scheduled overtime wage. Is that due to short staff?
That was due to short staff and then the issues we had at the beginning of the year.
And that scheduled overtime wage is a new line
Yeah.
that we put in to where we could see what was scheduled, what we knew we were going to get, and then the overtime they got from their training and their fires and such.
So overtime wages would be those not anticipated, meaning the trainings.
The fires they attend, stuff like that.
Okay.
But they have scheduled overtime for the way they do
Just
their
because of the
schedule.
way the schedule falls out.
Yes.
Like the
Okay.
built-in overtime. So
Is there a desire, interest, push to hire back to full staff?
we just hired a gentleman, the 15th firefighter.
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
And he will start February 1st and 2nd will be his first 48-hour shift.
Because the theory there is salaries will increase, but we should see a reduction in overtime.
We should.
Yeah.
That's the thought.
Yeah. Okay.
We will be full staffed, right, when Jeremy comes on?
Yep.
Okay. So when Jeremy starts February, we'll be fully staffed at the current levels. Now, I can tell you Chief Pennington, about every other day comes to my office and he'd like to have more staffing. So, but,
And if we do more staffing, then you're going to see the decrease in overtime because we're not going to have to call anybody in to fill a shift.
and long-term, obviously, we are going to have to add staff if we add Fire Station 3. That's a long-term goal. That's out there ways where we just.
Yeah, we need to make sure we get the revenue to cover that. I know you're working on that, because
Yep.
the overtime alone represents, that's a 30% increase from current budget year. So,
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions for fire? Okay, move on to the police. I'm going to say a couple things about our police department. I had the fortune to do a ride-along with one of our new canine. He doesn't have his dog yet, but I was quite impressed with the professionalism of the officer. He's very excited to get that canine, so I'm going to let George kind of walk you through when those canines are coming.
Yes, sir. Canine program's moving forward. I believe the dogs will arrive in the February, beginning of March, and go into service of training, and then they will be placed in the field in May 1 is the plan. So they are progressing quite well. We have about everything prepped up to receive them and are finishing up planning. So not quite the April 1 date I targeted last year when we had the conversation, but May 1, they should be in the field and operational. 2 dogs, so 7 days a week we'll have canine coverage unless they're off for training or holidays or whatever, but the majority of the time they'll be in service and quite looked forward to by other agencies and departments, so looking to share that resource.
I think Monett is very fortunate to have the equipment in our PD and the facilities that we have. The Justice Center is probably one of the nicest buildings we have in the community. And so just very fortunate what we have. Any questions for our police department?
I haven't had time to look at it.
Yeah.
I will.
And I was going to say, remember, this is the first work session. And then we go to the February meeting, and we can always have questions before the final vote of the ordinance that passes the budget,
Yeah.
okay? And that can either be private meetings with finance director and I, or open meeting, however you want to do it.
But there's a fairly significant decrease in overall expenses, down 179,000. I haven't gone through the line items, any big items that to note where the decrease in expenses come from?
Reduction or increase?
Reduction.
We did manage to reduce some things that we had planned on significantly, mostly operational wise, trying to do cutbacks in foreseeable futures. And then a lot of it was due to the advancement we made with like enterprise fleet reduces our expenses on maintenance. So we were able to significantly reduce our expenses on costs there.
Okay.
So there were some significant offsets because of previous planning on city council side.
Okay.
And I do want to say, I appreciate George because he wanted to get 2 replacement vehicles. He's going to delay that a year. So thank you publicly for doing that, but I think we've done a good job.
Just out of curiosity, I noticed a $20,000 reduction in workman's comp. When does that ever happen?
Well, because we didn't have as many claims,
Okay.
and actually, we changed carriers this year.
Okay.
We shopped it, our broker shopped it, and found us a reduction. We thought it was going to be a $40,000 reduction, it ended up being a $20,000 reduction.
Yeah, well, that's
I
good.
think that's a
I
rough.
mean, obviously no complaint, but.
No, yeah.
So we had a better rating, we had less claims.
Yep.
And that reduced our liability, so therefore we pay less money.
And we shopped another, based on those findings, yeah.
And comparison.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Cemetery, that is, the department director there is Dave Dunn. I don't have any comments. I don't know if there's any questions about cemetery.
No, sir. Yeah.
I do think the stats were, I think there were 42 grave openings last year. Does that sound right, Dave?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
Okay, so that's a pretty significant number, I think, but economic development, there's no real changes there. This is where last year we took out the 2 planned payments to the Monett Main Street. I would ask, council to leave that at the same level, and we use the money this year focused on economic development for the city of Monett. So that's just a plug there. Any questions about EDC? There are expansions going on. We won't cover all the cost, but when we host the Barry Lawrence Economic Development Alliance that's in its formation stage, when we do host them, we do provide a meal. That meeting will start rotating around to other communities as that charter is put in place. Our first charter meeting for the committee is this Friday. All right, street and stormwater. This is also Dave Dunn, and there's we covered some of the projects that we're projecting for next year. I don't know if there's any questions concerning street and stormwater that Dave can address.
The projects on 9th, 10th Street area, stormwater, are we still looking at
Yeah,
those?
they're building the box of it right now.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Is that a springtime project?
Well, we're hoping. I mean,
Okay.
last we heard, it was mid-February, so.
Good.
Is that an internal or is that outsourced work that we're doing?
No, we'll do it internally. We'll have to lease a piece of equipment. But we'll do that.
Okay, all right. Very good.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Any other questions for street and stormwater? Casino and community building, Larry Howard oversees this. Larry is out sick, but Larry has implemented some plans and put in place more advertisement, more usage of both the facilities, the casino and the community building. We are going to look at presenting an RFP to see if we can do some, not upgrades here in the casino, but to make sure we're all linked together correctly, because there's been some work here in the casino that we've either just kind of put all of our TVs together, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So we'll work on that in the next few months. The facility is used broadly by individual groups, and a lot of our industries do their trainings here at the casino. So it's really an asset that we have in town. Any questions about any of that work? Okay, our golf course is under new management with Randy Graham, and of course Larry Howard is overseeing that. The sprinkler system was installed last year,
In the fall.
In
yeah,
the fall.
Early winter, yeah.
so we're looking forward to that this year to help our fairways. And Larry's kind of taken he is overseeing the management of the golf course as far as the turf and upgrading the turf as much as we can. Randy Graham has done a good job looking at new revenue streams for the golf course. He's working with Commissioner Gaspar to look at rates and tournaments and how we conduct tournaments, and putting more merchandise in our clubhouse that's more branded with Windmill Ridge as opposed to just generic golf shirts. So there's work being done on the golf side and building that amenity. I don't know if you saw, but Randy's already put Monett on. There's a 4-state golf card that you can pick up, and he's already put us on that, so we're a part of that circuit now. So any questions about
And
golf?
Randy's built some good relationships with area course managers, so.
All right.
Expenses are down for in the red by $100,000, I guess.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with that.
Yeah. They've really looked at what they can do. North Park, of course, again, one of our great amenities here in the city. Larry did a very good job looking at his budget and how can he do some, watching his cost and watching how he does. Because now Larry is the superintendent of not only North Park, South Park, the golf course, we're really trying to look at, can we buy in bulk? And can we do a yearly or an annual purchase that helps us in cost savings? So it's more the procurement side of what we're doing is cleaner. And so Larry's really looking at all that for North Park and South Park. As far as South Park is concerned, construction on the mega playground will start in February, 1st of February. Groundbreaking is scheduled for February 13th. A couple of other things that Larry's looking at, he's already growing some plants for a botanical garden that will be just west of where the new playground will go. And so he's looking at how to utilize South Park even more. He's got an event called Spring Thaw, March 21. It includes Drury College, YMCA, Chamber of Commerce, City of Monett, and the Kiwanis Club. And each one of those are going to take an event. So Drury is taking the 5K. There's actually also in here, there's going to be a craft fair. So the YMCA is doing the pickleball. City of Monett is doing the golf tournament. Chamber is doing, I can't remember what they're doing. And then Kiwanis is going to do a disc golf tournament, all in one day. So South Park will be a busy place that day. Any questions about South Park or North Park? Are there any other, oh, we're looking at lights. We're partnering with the school system to do lights for the tennis courts.
Right.
And Steve Garner is doing, with the school, is doing an excellent job looking for grants. We plugged in, what, 125,000? Okay.
For the lights.
The number we plugged in was 125,000. Steve is working on grants from the United States Tennis Association and
T-Mobile.
T-Mobile.
So it's a
So
joint effort.
I don't know when that grant is awarded. He didn't tell me that. Do you know?
It's usually by March.
Okay, okay. All right. So that would be a significant drop in that cost if we can, if that'll come through. The swimming pool, of course, we still need to make a determination about the swimming pool and the request from the YMCA. So any questions about the swimming pool?
That request was for 109, and we've got 75 in the budget.
Okay.
Okay.
The pavilion and the downtown park, again, another thing that Larry is doing, he hasn't added staff, but he's realigned staff, and he's assigned one individual to what he's calling the Central Park area, so that's all downtown. So that will include the new dog park, it'll include the Freedom Silo, it'll include, if the Freedom Park comes into fruition, it includes the pavilion, it includes the parking lot by the Old Times building to make sure that the weeds are cut down and taken care of there, and anything else that is city property along Broadway. So that individual will make sure that that's taken care of. Any questions about the events, the pavilion, or the downtown parks? And then the last is the airport. He would not appreciate it if I didn't mention this, but Steve's got over 13,000 followers now on Facebook for the Monett Regional Airport. So I don't know if you saw the song that he and Justin Richmond did on Facebook, but it's getting some traction.
Unfortunately, I saw it and heard it.
Yeah, I know, me too.
Yeah.
A for effort.
I do want to say about the airport, just like so many buildings and facilities, it's very easy for them to fall into disarray. So the light beacon pole has been painted. All of the several of the bases of the light poles have now been painted. All of the shrubbery that was dying around the terminal has been removed. Rock will be put in its place. There's new signage welcoming people to Monett. Steve's going to put a proposal together for a mural on the west wall of the terminal so that when people arrive, the mural will be there. That proposal is forthcoming. So I think our airport is moving in the right direction. Of course, with the city hangar that will be built or started this spring, that project, as I said earlier, 1.2 million. That'll be a really good highlight to our airport. We believe we're going to have a great fly-in. If you experienced the fly-in last June, Steve's already working on some partners to help us with making our fly-in even better than what it's been. So that's our general funds, unless there's questions about the airport.
Yes.
Yep.
So there's a reduction in revenue. Where is that attributed? Because that's
Sandra, you may
counter
have
to what I would
help here.
assume, given that we're going to be renting the new hangar this fiscal year.
I don't know, I really didn't get to talk with Steve much, and he did those numbers. The fuel alone, he brought down $20,000.
See, that doesn't make sense to me, especially with the goal of them increasing fuel sales.
Yeah, I'll have to look into that.
I have not talked to him at all.
I have, and I don't know if you made adjustments based on some of the findings that we've, about the hangars and rentals and all that. I just don't know.
Okay, because I think that's going to swing in the opposite. I think that's going to be very accretive for us.
Yeah, I need to get with him, and I'll make sure and actually, we can get with him, you're the commissioner
Yep.
for there.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll clarify that. I know we're still waiting on that FAA report, and I think that's going to clarify some of our leases and all that. Okay? So general funds, as we come in, the totals, last year was 1.976446. This year, we're at 1,715,910. Still a deficit budget, roughly $200,000. Any questions about the general funds? Okay. Skip, you want to walk them through water? Can you walk on water? Or are you going to walk?
I heard it.
Water, for the most part, some of the big items there, I've got is repair and maintenance. Well, one thing on revenues, I mean, we are expecting more revenue this year with the rate increase. So I've kind of estimated conservatively on that. It's probably, hopefully be higher than what I've estimated, so. And then repair and maintenance is a big one, and that's always, usually I'll have about $80,000 or $90,000 of a well repair figured into that, and then it's about $140,000 a year just for our tank maintenance that we have a company do, so that's roughly about half of that. Then capital projects we're looking at. We've got some main replacement that we're going to do around town, looking at one over at Tipton Park, another one on 15th Street, and then there's some 2-inch out at South Park that's in bad shape that we need to replace. And we've got money kind of planned in for the North Hills project, and then if Woodland Ridge happens to go, we got some money set aside for it. And then I think Lucas was looking for a small trailer for some trenching and shoring supplies.
At Woodland Ridge, what is that?
Randy Witt.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been some discussion, and we went ahead and just put place marks in the budget for electric and water, just in case it does go.
All right, before we move on, I should have said this. So we concluded the general funds. Now we're moving into what's called the enterprise funds. I call them enterprise funds. You call them something different.
Business.
Business funds. So these are funds that are funded by a service that we're providing to the city, but they're restricted to that enterprise, that business, that fund. So when we begin to look, and if you say, well, why can't we take some money there and help out this over here? They're restricted funds, so we can't do that.
So anything in water, you can't take water, stuff out of water and electric. They have to be separate. Is that correct?
Yeah. The only exception is we do this franchise fee or transfer over, and
It's actually both.
yeah, and he can kind of walk you through that, but they're very restricted. And then in the water, is that where we put some of the TIF projects? Or
Yeah, and I
is
forgot
that
to mention that, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've got $1 million stuck in there for whatever TIF and whatever work around the hospital might happen. I got that earmarked.
So if there's development in TIF, in the amended TIF 3 area, then we've got some money in there to do some of the work. You shaking yes?
Yes,
Okay.
I agree with you.
All right. Okay?
So I may have known this years ago, and I don't know why I've forgotten, but we have a GL account, sewer water taps, and we haven't put any budget money in that. Whenever we do a tap, where does that revenue go?
It goes back into the department. The reason there's not been anything shown because we have we keep renewing the what's it called?
Oh, the bill.
Bill Monett.
Yeah, so almost anything new getting built now doesn't get charged a tap, so we really haven't had much revenue off of it here for a while.
Got it.
And I do want to say about Bill Monett, I was asked to bring that back before council, but it hasn't expired yet. It goes through 27, I think.
Yep.
So,
So this is an accounting question. Why wouldn't we or shouldn't we book the revenue and have a discount line to show that activity? Is that a waste?
Are you getting the revenue?
That's a good point. Okay. So yes, it would be a waste. Okay.
yeah.
Skip a little off subject here, but this lead inventory on the pipes, are we, is that, we don't have, is that in this budget?
No.
Okay, so that's future years.
Well, that's for, we'll finish it in this fiscal year.
It'll be done.
The inventory will be done, but we'll have to look at the replacement cost.
Well, actually, I've heard pretty good news on that, that the EPA is considering the lead goosenecks as a lead connector. I'm being told that that is not going to be something that we, I mean, we're going to try to replace them, but we're not going to have to go in and wholesale replace all of it at once.
Okay.
We'll be able to probably just peck away at it as we've been doing it here. As stuff gets replaced, we just change it out. So I think that's going to be a big saving, and we won't have to tear the whole town up.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll let Skip move on to electric then. Skip?
All right. Electric, we got a lot going on this year. Our substation will get going out there. That's going to be about a $4 million project. We have...
Everybody knows where that substation is going, right?
by the,
Yep.
and I think it may even be, we may even be looking at trying to put it out the end of next month. So we've got, hope I'm getting on the right page here. Yeah, electric, we've got capital, okay, he's got 400,000 set up for North Hills. We've got, you know, there's been a lot of talk of potential, maybe a data center or something, so we're setting some money aside for some possible upgrades in order to be able to serve that. We have, again, Woodland Ridge, that's another one that if it does go, we've got some money set aside for it. And then there's roughly, let me find it here. Yeah, another big item we've got is three-phase transformers. We've got about 400,000 set aside for that, and that's basically anything we're getting into the 1,500 or 2,000 or $60,000, $70,000 a piece. So just we're looking at some growth and trying to stay ahead of it there.
Does this include the airport?
Yeah, what are we gonna do? I know three-phase is coming into the airport on the hangar,
Yes.
or weren't we gonna do some other kind of?
Yeah, there was like $4,000 for an inverter.
Okay, yeah.
And honestly, I can break that out, but that almost could be just stuck in repair and maintenance.
Yeah,
I've got some extra money there.
that was a cost-effective fix over some other options.
Yeah, some worth $40,000 or $50,000 options.
Yeah.
And just to note, I think that we've got $200,000 worth of wood poles. Pricing for everything has went up. Wood poles used to really, I would say cheap, but they have almost doubled in cost over the last several years just since COVID. And stuff went up and it just hadn't come down.
How many do we typically replace a year?
Between 100 and 150.
Yep.
Weird question for you. Do you know if those are U.S. growth?
Or what now?
Do you know if those poles are U.S. trees, U.S. growths,
I believe they are.
but not
They are.
Canadian and subject to tariff, and that's why?
Right. Yeah, no, I don't have a good answer on
No,
some
no,
of
it's,
this
it's,
stuff.
I guess that was a weird question.
Yeah, it's jumped up quite a bit.
Any questions about electric? Are you done?
I was looking to make sure there weren't any other big items. I don't think there's any other big ticket items on there that's not our normal stuff we have year to year.
This is off subject, we've been getting a lot of questions about that sign that's out there on Chapel Drive. And Skip has been in contact with that group and stays current with them, so.
What's the group's purpose?
They're looking to build an anaerobic digester here in town.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Wow.
Yeah,
Anaerobic digester.
yeah,
Is that a snake or?
exactly, no. It's at the old sewer plant, or our sewer plant down there, that's what was initially set up in the 70s. We had that, those round, kind of up in the front, it's just, instead of being open, it's enclosed, it's anaerobic. When the bugs do their thing, it kicks off methane.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, so they're looking to sell methane to somebody, or it'd be natural gas, yeah.
Okay.
That's the nicer word for methane is natural gas.
There you go.
Natural gas is methane, so.
Smells like shit.
Bingo.
That's wild. What do they do with the sludge afterwards?
Do what now?
What do they do with the sludge afterwards?
They'll have to cake it and haul it somewhere and get rid of it. We had drying beds down there,
Yeah.
and they would lay it out, it would dry it out. When it was done, then it was went and either put on a field.
Fertilizer, yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. That's pretty cool.
Your notebooks have sewer at the bottom of the page and then on the next page as well. That's Skip as well to look at sewer.
Yeah, the big project this year, we should get started shortly, is our SRF project with sewer. And I'm trying to remember what our annual payout a year on it is. We've got the loan in place. We have a headworks project that we're going to try to do this year, but it was a little over 100,000. One of the 3 screws down there at the headworks where it comes in is we're going to replace. It had a bearing go out a year or two ago, and when it was flopping and banging around, it lost a lot of diameter on it, so now it's setting up off the bottom a couple inches, so it doesn't bring water into the plant near as good as it did, so it just needs to be replaced. And really, there's no other big difference things that we're doing. It's the normal maintenance type things we have at the plant.
Any questions? How much is that project, the upgrades at the plant? Is it 4 million?
Yeah, it was close to 5 million.
5 million?
Yeah. And pretty well, it's gonna fit almost all the way under our bonding that we had set up there, so. Yeah. And that is something going forward, I guess I'll let you all know. We've pretty well exhausted all of the existing bonding capacity we've had for projects, so probably going forward, the next phase of projects that will be coming along, whether it's phosphorus or some other things, if we don't have the money on hand and we're going to need to borrow or go through SRF, we'll probably be looking at going to a vote for personal bonding capacity.
Do we know the schedule when those previous bonds will be retired?
I don't know that.
Yeah,
I mean, I just know that we've committed to almost all the bonding capacity we have. So, I mean, this project that we're getting ready to do, it's 20 years, so.
That is a good question, though. When are those gonna sunset?
Yeah, because are there any that can be subject to early payoff?
Another good question that we have to research.
I'm pretty sure any of the SRF, if you want to pay early, you can.
Yeah,
To save some of that interest cost.
yes.
Yeah, I think our interest on this stuff is 2% or
I was
less.
say, if it's older, yes.
But even now,
Now?
yeah. That's why SRF is very good to use. It's very low interest.
That's another conversation of the time. I'd like to know how they do that.
The government subsidizes it.
Yeah.
Again, I'd like to know how they do that.
I think it was like 1.5%, and then they add a 0.5% or something onto it that DNR does for managing it or whatever. So it was only like 2% or something, yeah.
Hey, yay for us.
Any more questions for sewer? Fiber has been overseen by Skip. We're in transition there. This is one of those departments, I'm just going to be honest with you, that we use to help us with some of the network upgrades, some of the funding in there, trying to figure out now where do we go forward with the fiber department. Jordan Smith, who we were connected with through MCCOE, the people that are doing our upgrades to our network, introduced us to Jordan Smith. We now have Jordan as a separate vendor, and he serves as our ISP, Internet Service Provider.
Correct. And
So-
I saw your email. He and I are still back and forth. He has confirmed that, yes, he is our MSP, but I'm asking those "are you sure" questions and "what about" questions.
Yes.
Trying to make sure every stone gets turned over. And, yeah, I mean, and I have a master agreement document for you to sign eventually.
Okay.
But for all intents and purposes, yes, they are serving as our MSP.
So at Jordan, Jordan serves as our ISP, Internet Service Provider,
Right.
which includes fiber repairs and all that. The MSP portion is Maintenance Service Provider on hardware and devices, workstations, and all that. So Jordan's a very skilled person and very well known in his field. So
Are we to a point where we can sell fiber to customers?
I think that ship has sailed. I think there's some state statute that precludes us from doing it now, that because we have a public utility. And Skip, I don't know if you know anything.
No, we could do it. I just think, I'm not sure what George would say. I think that with Ozark already in here and saturating the town.
Right.
I don't think we'd get a big enough share of the market. We would just be throwing, we're better off staying like we are. If whatever expansion we do is kind of the city utility model, and that would be, we have infrastructure and then we rent the infrastructure to other people to use last mile.
Right. Yeah, he and I have already talked briefly about how we expand our current fiber business. Once everything gets installed and levels off, we'll increase those conversations, because I'm very much interested in how we expand our fiber business. So what Skip is talking about is that we do just a cable drop from our location to a customer. And we're just renting that line. We don't light up the fiber. That's the Internet Service Provider that does that. So if we can increase those dark drops, then
And a lot of the contracts that are set up are what I would call last mile. So
Yeah.
it would be Liberty or KMO or somebody is basically just renting some fiber from us in order so they don't have to build to get out of town. So it's always been a deal where it's paid for the system, and it's allowed us, in city facilities, to have fiber and have something that we control. And we're not at the mercy of somebody else to
and
charge.
we have customers right now. We have some major industrial and commercial customers that we have on our infrastructure. So
Okay,
there's
probably
a
a
potential.
conversation for the future. I mean,
Yeah,
there's-
and
There's
there's
some
poten-
opportunity there, but
Yeah.
there may be legal problems that will allow us to go forward, but it sounds to me like the network that we have, MSP, ISP, is stable, or getting
The
there.
relationship is stable, yes.
and our network is much, much better than ours.
Yes. And there's potential for increase in revenue even with our existing customers.
Understand. Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions about that? Or sanitation and hazardous materials? That's Dave. It's our pickups. And any questions, concerns?
Yeah, I mean, I see a drop in revenue, and the pendulum swung the other way, right, as far as the loss is bigger. We've done a couple of rate increases over the last couple of years. I thought we had priced it so that it would have been
It was supposed to,
more profitable.
Does this include, though, the recycling in here?
Yes.
So there's losses now in recycling, right?
Recycling and compost. I've
Yeah.
lost my workbook. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, we've lost revenues on the recycle center.
Yeah, that's just because we can't find buyers, right? We can't find buyers for the material.
I don't know, compost sales seem to be down, but the big time of the year isn't here yet, the spring, so.
What about the recyclables?
Yeah, I mean, they're not bringing near what they did, you know what I mean? The only real money maker was cardboard, now it's, hit rock bottom, so. I mean, but it's just one of those, it's a, I don't know, it's a service, you know what I mean? Yeah. We're not in it to, per se, I mean, I know the goal is to come close to breaking even as we can, but we didn't get into recycling to make money.
Right. But if it's costing more to provide that service as opposed to just bringing it to the landfill, which disgusts me to even say, but.
I don't even think that would be an option at this point in time after it running for so many years.
Okay.
All right, any other questions for sanitation and hazardous materials? And then Sandra, I'm going to make the statement, but mechanic, that is allocation, the revenues are an allocation from every department that funds this, the departments that use the mechanic.
Services.
Okay?
That's the only revenue they have.
Yeah, so their revenue stream comes from other departments that are provided a service by Paul and his crew. Any questions about the mechanic? Okay. Use tax funds. The use tax by ordinance was divided between public safety, PD and fire, and Chapel Drive overpass. So, any questions about our use tax?
And why the drop from 900 to 610 between this year and next year?
Can you explain that, Sandra?
What, in the revenue?
Yeah. You see him where he's looking
Yeah,
at?
it's revenues. We got 900 from this year and 610 for last year.
Did we just
Do we think?
Did we just project, did we just plug in the number from the previous year?
I don't see where he's getting the 610.
On the use tax revenue line, the proposed budget is
Went from
610.
600,000 to 900,000.
But I think what you did is you didn't, did we receive 900,000 this year and we just plugged in 600?
Page 4.
On your summary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Page 4 shows a $610,000 number.
I think it may be a mistake because
Oh.
previous year 600,000.
Yeah, that must have been, because I've got it at 900,000. It's coming in at just under $1 million. I didn't see it changing that much.
Yeah.
So that's pulling that number from
Okay, so we need to
somewhere.
correct
I need
that. So
to
that
correct
number
that.
should be plugged at 900,000.
Okay, thank you.
Good catch. All right, any other questions about the use tax? The equipment reserve is also a allocated fund, if I'm correct, that we've been putting money in there just for equipment. Any questions about that fund?
Are those used for any department or?
From what I've seen, fire and street put in the money.
Okay.
That's where you'll see the 650,000 fire truck coming out of, and a small dump truck for street.
Regular size dump truck,
Okay,
full size. dump
full
truck.
size.
Ordered but not being bought out of this budget.
Probably,
Yeah, right.
yeah. We've tagged it in there, but he thinks it'll be next year's budget before it hits.
Right.
And like you said, that's a regular sized dump truck that pushes snow and all the work that we do here.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, so it'll be in his fleet. All right, we'll move on to fleet management. Is this where enterprise resides?
On some of the departments, that's where enterprise comes out of.
We're in the enterprise lease agreement. that some of our departments utilize and use. I have put an additional functional team together for fleet management oversight. I've asked Skip to lead that team, and I'll probably get this wrong, but I know that we've got fire, police, parks, utilities, streets, and airport on that functional team. Because those are really the ones that are, either they're engaged in the enterprise lease agreements, or they can benefit from a trickle down of equipment that's not going to be sold or whatever, and better use of equipment. Jim Pogue has done a very good job for the city liquidating some equipment that has been stored for years, especially we just got rid of a big snow blower out the airport. Timing is everything. But anyway, so, yeah. But we're glad to get rid of some of those, that equipment. I don't know how much we've seen off of Purple Wave since we started that program, how much revenue's come in, but
I haven't really
Yeah.
watched it as a
Jim
total.
has a spreadsheet on it.
yeah, Jim can give us those numbers.
It was really good till they started kind of trying to pop us $100 a lot there to post stuff now. That kind of, now you kind of have to pick and choose a little bit about what you want to, I mean, stuff that's going to make money, that's fine, but if you've got something that you're just trying to get rid of, I think Jim's looking at some other sites that, where they don't charge, to post it basically.
Some of the smaller stuff is gonna go back to government surplus.
It's the old eBay model, right?
Yeah.
Kick your price up to cover your fees.
Well, and they're charging whatever it is, I don't know, 4 or 10%, whatever they, Kevin, how much is their fee for like when you're buying? Is it
10%.
Huh?
10%
So
on
10,
all.
yeah, they're getting 10% on top of whatever they bid that they pay, and then they're charging us $100 a lot.
Who would
So-
argue?
Yeah.
Yeah. But Jim's doing research, he's doing a really good job. Jim will also be a part of that fleet team when needed, as will Paul, as needed.
So is the enterprise lease arrangement still working out well for us?
We get positives, we get negatives. Does anybody want to talk?
I would say at this
Who's
point,
for and who's against?
I could tell Chief Dowd's opinion already.
I'm kind of in the to be determined.
Okay.
It's too early to tell, because
Okay.
we're still going through, we haven't traded anything yet. We've just got the new trucks, and the stuff that we got rid of wouldn't have enough value to, I mean, I don't know if they could have got more money for some of it, they got $3,500 instead of $3,000, I don't know, but until we do this next round and see how the trade, and then if it's coming out where we're not spending much on a new truck, I'm gonna say it's working.
Okay. Because the other benefit was that newer vehicles are much fewer breakdowns, and fuel consumption was much more efficient.
And warranties.
You're generally not gonna keep these more than, except maybe the 1 tons and bigger 450s and stuff, but the 1/2 and 3/4 ton, you're hoping you're cycling them every 2 or 3 years or something, yeah.
How long have we had this contract?
Does anybody know?
4 years?
It was
The
right
contract
around
was been in effect for 4. We couldn't get vehicles for the first year because of
Right,
COVID.
'cause of
So
COVID.
technically, we've had them for 3. The contract was 4,
Okay.
to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm just happy to receive the last of my vehicle that I ordered 2 years ago.
And there's equipment you can't get through Enterprise, okay, just to be clear.
No heavy equipment,
Right,
like the full-size dump trucks and stuff.
So we
Vehicles,
can't get a
pickups.
mill and fill?
Okay. All right, anything else about fleet management? All right, transportation sales tax, this is where we do road improvements. All this money has to go to improve roads. We do have road projects, you all were aware of those. Kevin brought those to your attention. Any questions from that?
How much is in the fund right now?
What, do you know the fund balance?
Isn't it 5.4?
I didn't bring that information.
That's what it looks like.
Is it on the, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was on the summary.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So 5.4.
Yeah.
Well, again, I have the question, we had, this year's budget was 5.2, and this year's 4.
Are you seeing that, Sandra?
So I'm trying to figure out what this means.
Your sales tax is going down. Your use tax is coming up. So I was trying to be conservative with it. I'd rather be surprised and it bring in more than me over budget for it.
Okay, but it sounds like with the combination of sales tax and use tax, one goes down, goes up,
Correct.
so it's flat revenues.
And
I think that's what it sounds like.
It is, and some of, you'll see your grant line, some of your grant came through this year, some of it will come through next year. They reimburse as we use it.
But your use tax can only be used for Chapel Drive overpass. This can be used for some other projects that we'll pull out of. What do we got in, what projects, I know Kevin covered this, but what projects are we covering with transportation sales tax? You got that pulled up?
And Sandra,
Just the,
just so you know, on the printout,
Uh-huh.
it did not print 25, 26, and 26, 27 columns.
okay. I saw some other printouts I need to
Okay.
correct for you guys too, so, okay, so the transportation.
So that, if I can read, I mean, I know you all can read it, but you see the projects there that Kevin walked us through the other day. And we plugged in 100,000 on Lowe's Lane, even though we believe that's going to be completed this budget year.
So Chapel Drive overpass is funded by a law enforcement tax or
That-
public safety tax.
That's the way it was passed to the citizens. Yes.
Okay, so all the money, are we spending money, other money than the than the public safety tax on Chapel Drive?
We've got 500,000 in the budget this year, or this coming year. We've got 200,000 in this year's budget out of that line. 500,000 next year. That is a new tax, so it doesn't have a lot of reserves, so we're not going to be able to get a lot out of it.
And may I just clarify that the use tax itself is a sales tax. It's the 1% sales tax. But when we passed the budget, I'm sorry, the ballot item, there was language in there, there was marketing language that stated that the revenues would be used for things such as public safety, fire, police, and also transportation. So I don't recall the ballot language actually stating it, but any marketing that we presented and communication we presented to the community had those books in it. So we've just been honoring that message to the public to say, this is what we said we we're going to use it for, so we're using it for those.
I've never seen the actual ballot language. I saw an ordinance that said specifically Chapel Drive.
Specific in the
Yeah.
ordinance?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I need to research that because
No, I don't need it to change. I don't
Yeah.
mean for it to change.
well, I
It's
hope
qualifying.
that it was passed by the citizens that you can use part of the use tax for even future road projects as opposed to it's sunsetting on the road portion
Yeah.
after Chapel Drive is completed.
Yeah, I was not a fan of pigeonholing us to those specific things in our communications to the public, but
Right.
again, it was a marketing thing, because we had presented it to the community one time and it failed.
Okay.
So the second time, we upped our messaging campaign to help promote and potentially get a passage of the tax.
I'm just curious, did the first failure include public safety or not?
No, it was
You added
just,
public
it was
safety.
just a,
Yeah.
shall we institute a use tax that in essence mirrors our sales tax?
Yeah,
Because there's a use tax for every bucket, so the 1%, the quarter cent,
yeah.
and quarter cent.
Yeah, because the communities that are seeing it fail, the second or third time that they're coming around, they're putting public safety on it.
Yeah.
Because that usually
Yeah,
gets it going. All right.
because it garners emotion.
Yeah, everybody likes safety. All right, any other questions about the transportation sales tax? You saw those projects that are there. Again, Kevin walked us through it. The park sales tax, we do have some projects in there. Of course, the playground equipment, the lights that we've already talked about. I'm on page 5 of 6. Any questions about the parks tax? Okay. All right, moving on to airport improvement. All right, remind me, Sandra, how's this funded?
This is transfers. Some of it comes from your transportation tax that we transfer
Right.
in, and then some from the airport fuel.
Okay. There's no projects that we have, because the hangar is,
Yeah, we've got,
oh yeah, that's right. There was some expenses on both the AWAS and the hangar that we may have to cover.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's in here.
So the utility, I don't know if the utility expense is coming from here or is it coming from utilities?
Transfer to.
I didn't budget for it.
Okay.
No, I think
It's,
going
well, I
from
think,
here.
and I understood it was coming through there.
Yeah,
Yeah, there it
it's
is.
coming back to you.
Yep.
Okay. That was a loan or
and also-
something. Yeah.
that's,
Oh, that is, yes, yeah, they had borrowed
Yeah.
$500,000 or whatever it was. It was something to do with the runway project or something. I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
Yeah, so that money, so that we're clear, that's going back to utilities. That's a debt service from the airport back to utilities.
Did we ever find out about the FAA annual grant?
not since,
Because you had asked someone, I'm forgetting who you asked. If you asked the auditor or somebody else.
no, he was the city administrator in Lamar.
Oh,
And he said to talk to your engineer out there, that they would know that information.
Okay.
yeah, because there's an allocation that we get from the FAA each year.
I didn't hear any more out of it, so I assume you did.
Yeah, yeah, it's supposed to be every year.
Yeah, what amount is that about?
I don't remember.
100,000, 200,000?
Yeah, I'll say, I don't remember.
I'll get with Joe Pastor. He's going to be in town next week.
It's significant.
It's worth pursuing. Sam.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, moving on to the water debt services. I don't know, Skip, do you have any questions about the debt service, water?
Mostly the water treatment plant.
Yeah. Okay,
About halfway through that one.
and then sewer debt services as well. Okay. So citywide totals, totaling out the totals. So our end of cash reserves are around 33 million. Any questions? Anything you want to, you've got your notebooks that you can, each one of these tabs drills down into each one of those departments that we just covered. So if you want to drill down into any department, you can. Any other questions? If not, Mayor, I'm concluded.
Well, first of all, I want to thank everyone for the work on the budget. I know it's hard work, and it looks like we had a pretty good process. May have been a little bit rushed this year, but it looks like we have caught back up. I'm pretty happy with the way we have looked at the cost to get the best bang for the buck. One of the things that does concern me is the general fund it's right around just under 2 mil. It's flat. And I don't expect that to go down based on what I'm seeing between this budget year and compared to previous budget years. So I think we're gonna have to look at some big muscle movements there. We might get something more with the license and the fees. I don't know that will make up for it, but over time, I expect that deficit to increase. I see no reason it won't. If we want to do anything, something happens. I think we have to look at that, and I think that ought to be one of the goals between this year and next year, is how do you reduce that deficit?
And I did want to mention, Mayor, there's a movement in state legislature, especially with the governor, to do away with income tax for the state and increase a statewide sales tax. That's going to
Be
be devastating to a lot of communities. Aurora, Mount Vernon, and myself, we sat down, and that's going to, just a quick calculation, that's going to put us way over 10%.
Well,
on our sales
and
tax.
given our demographics collectively, it's going to be very regressive for the population.
Yeah,
Very regressive.
Well, this is going to be a statewide tax, right?
they would
Yeah.
reduce the income tax, and then they would charge a sales tax
Yeah.
on top of the local sales tax.
Right, which they already do, but they'll just increase
Yeah,
it.
they'll increase their portion.
But again, it's regressive to lower income families.
Yes.
Not a wise move.
Yeah. All right.
All right, I don't think, and I'm talking to commissioners here, I'm pretty happy with the work that's done. I don't think we need to have another work session. Yeah, wait till Ken gets back. I don't know if you heard me, Ken. I don't think we need another work session with the council. Do you feel otherwise?
I mean, once I go through this more closely, I'll have a bunch of questions, and if you're interested in those questions and answers, yes, but if not, then no.
That's a fair point. Have time to soak this in. If we do it, we probably need to do it next week, if we're gonna have another meeting. In the meantime, I encourage, I think I feel plenty comfortable for, the big questions are answered for me. So we're kind of doing the margins here, and that's me personally.
I don't mind submitting my questions in writing, and then Nikki can distribute those questions and answers.
That'll work fine.
Either way, but if we are going to meet again next week, I'd like for us to book that so we can book this space.
I'm not going to say that we specifically need a meeting, but if you
Okay.
want
So
to
we're
share
just
the
sharing questions.
questions and answers.
I think we're good with
Okay.
sharing questions.
All right.
I'm happy with the big muscle movements. So let's do it that way, and I think when we get all those questions answered, then we can move forward and do the first reading on the 12th of February.
Okay, all right. And commissioners can always come in and meet with Sandra and I if you need to.
Okay.
The 1.7 million deficit is, it's not good.
You talking about the general fund?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. And I think we'll have to work through that, Ken, this next year. I suspect there's going to be some hard decisions we're going to have to make. We'll work that through this next year.
Expenses haven't increased a whole lot year over year, but I'm looking at budgets. That's why I was asking about the actuals.
Yeah.
I want to see the actuals. So that's the big question I'm going to have for you both.
Yeah, I think we can do that after, because we go through the audit in April, right?
He's kind of, we still haven't went through last year's audit.
Okay. All right, I too would like to see what we actually did. We're still talking about, I think that's key as we go forward in that discussion, but I think we have to do, that's something we've got to work through this year. And not this budget year, next budget year, to kind of answer those questions.
We'll get that.
Okay?
Yep.
Anything else? I have any motions to move into a closed session?
I don't have an agenda in front of me.
Yeah, I don't have it either.
It's a closed session for personnel. Is it?
Personnel, I don't know the number though. Can you pull it up or the number? And it'll be,
Is it personnel?
yeah, and we need to have Jackie as the deputy city clerk, myself, and Jessica.
Okay, I move we go into closed session
Pursuant of whatever. Can you get it?
pursuant to 613, I can't remember off the top of my head.
763.250. I think it's 763.250.
Section 610.021,
Okay, so,
subsections 3 and
All right,
13.
so we've got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
okay.
Okay, call the roll?
Mayor Randy Bird,
Yes.
Commissioner Darren Individual,
Aye.
Commissioner Ken Gaspar.
Aye.
Okay, all right, we'll move into closed session. I'd like to take a potty break.